Faith in Shackles, a one-act play by Justin Giacchetti. Darkness, then blinding light. A cold metallic room. A window lets in trickles of light high on the upstage wall. A cot sits beneath. Two metal benches frame a plain card table center stage. Downstage left is a lonely chair. In the upstage corner, looming over the room, is a large steel door, similar to ones you'd find in solitary confinement. The ceiling of this cell can act as a dual level, with a trapped door above and a subtle climbing rung on the back wall. Silence.
A young woman, daughter, all in white, gasps for air. Her breathing steadies as she looks up and begins to examine the foreign space. First with wariness, then a sense of childlike curiosity. She looks to the fourth wall, a reflective surface, and sees herself for the first time. Slowly taking in a sense of ownership over her body, her power, and this room.
Daughter runs for cover as a new woman appears on the cot. Mother, draped in a light blue headscarf, opens her eyes and takes in her surroundings. She seems to go through the 5 stages of grief before our eyes. Daughter steps forward and goes to comfort her. They have a moment of connection.
A new woman, adorned in an amber headscarf, appears. Lover's eyes immediately transfix on Mother, and they embrace. Mother invites daughter to join but lover immediately storms to the opposite side of the room. She turns to Mother, making her choose. With a lingering look to daughter, Mother joins lover on the cot.
A young girl wrapped in a torn tunic, virgin, tries in vain to claw at an invisible wound on her neck. However, she is bound and blindfolded. Daughter immediately rushes to her. Virgin tenses initially at her touch, but then slowly allows daughter to untie her. Virgin looks at daughter and pulls away. Seeing Mother, she runs to her and immediately buries her head in her lap. Lover moves away in disgust.
A warrior in chainmail screams in pain atop the card table, wrestling against the heat of distant flames. Lover leaps into action, laying her on the floor and blotting sweat from warrior's face with the edges of her headscarf. Daughter approaches to try to remove the heavy chainmail, but warrior screams and lover pulls her away from daughter.
A ruler in a blood-stained nightgown appears and crosses upstage, commandeering one of the benches. She gathers her bearings, then reaches down to her stomach. Her hands trace her abdomen, then slowly work their way down to the blood on her pelvic area. She begins to get emotional, but then notices all the women staring at her. Immediately stone-faced, she stares them all down.
Priestess, a hard-faced black woman in colonial attire, hangs upon the rungs of the back wall. She jumps to the ground, looking at the women, then begins to dance and chant in a foreign tongue. This triggers the rest of the women to launch into their own fits of desperation, panic, and hysteria. As the chaos builds, an overwhelmed daughter backs up to the lone chair, cradling herself against the tide of sound.
Quiet!
Daughter looks to the heavens.
Please. No more. The pain, it's too much.
Virgin, overwhelmed, takes her blindfold and voluntarily covers her eyes again. Mother tries to comfort daughter, but lover stops her. Slowly, the women begin to find a groove of normalcy as time rolls on. Meanwhile, daughter stares out at the fourth wall, watching events take place on Earth. As the marching of stormtroopers is heard, daughter begins to smell the air, and despite the horror, can't turn away from the images. Each of the women notice and begin to feel the tidal wave of pain, crescendoing until...
Reiter coughs and heaves for breath. Her hair is short and cropped, and her striped pajamas torn and dirty. She looks up and retreats into herself, pulling her tattooed arm close to her chest. Virgin stumbles forward from Mother, her hand outstretched. Reiter hesitatingly reaches, but...
A modern teenage girl, messenger, applies pressure to her breast as if to stop bleeding. She takes a moment and looks at her clean hand, confused. She looks at all the women in the room and then back out at the fourth wall. Daughter closes herself off even more.
He really doesn't care anymore, does he?
Blackout. Spotlight center stage. A young woman dressed in business attire looks over a large case file. 3 figures, shrouded in shadow, stand above her.
I'm sorry. I don't feel comfortable taking this case.
Are you under the impression you have a choice?
No, it's just there's nothing to go off of here. It's all hearsay. No jury is going to believe this.
Miss Abbasi, your job is to...
My job is to prove that my client...
Your job is to defend whoever the court appoints you to.
And provide a solid argument with palpable evidence. Have you read these files? These women clearly need help suffering from these delusions. They shouldn't be in confinement. They should be receiving psychiatric attention.
That's not up for you to decide.
I just want what's best and fair for these women.
So do we. We need the best attorney for this case. We feel that's you.
That's very flattering, Your Honor. But may I at least ask for an extension? Their crimes are all unrelated, and if I'm to defend them all at once in this trial, I need sufficient time.
Fortunately, we're on a time crunch. The case has waited too long to be tried.
Then shouldn't someone with more experience take this on? I just fear that
Ms. Abbasi, are you perhaps allowing your own personal biases to cloud your judgment on this matter?
No. Why would you think that?
Well, there is a certain theme amongst them. Wouldn't you agree?
Your Honor, I assure you, I wouldn't allow anything like that to affect my job.
We hope not. You have until dawn.
Talk to these women.
You owe it to them to make it a fair trial.
The fate of the world hangs in the balance.
Isn't that just a bit overdramatic?
Goodbye,
Ms. Abbasi.
The 3 figures disappear into the darkness.
Fuck me.
Sofia packs her briefcase and exits as the lights rise on the figures looking down from above. Each god is enveloped in their own stream of light.
Are we sure she's the one?
I know she is. I can sense it in her.
I feel it too. But what if she loses?
That isn't an option we're willing to think about.
In cases like this, we don't have control. They've played their hand. Now we're playing ours.
I don't like not knowing the answers. Can't she at least know what she's really fighting for?
Running that risk would defeat the whole purpose.
The boy has a point. Maybe if we go there, maybe if we could help along.
We must respect their boundaries. We cannot light the way if we are betraying your daughter's wishes.
But she'll be alone.
That's where you're wrong. We'll still be there. The women will see to it.
She just has to find us.
She just has to hear us.
She just has to fight for us.
One by one, their lights burn out. Slowly dripping water is heard as low wattage lighting hums downstage. Sofia enters, now in front of a large metal cell door. She looks behind her, confused. This door wasn't there a minute ago. She looks at the door number and back at her case file. Sofia pulls out a tape recorder from her briefcase and presses record, looking at her watch.
The time is now 9 p.m. Sunrise is at 6 a.m. Therefore, I have 9 hours to extract as much information as possible.
She hits stop on the recorder.
I can do this. Just get in there, find the facts, build a case.
Sofia opens the metal door. Inside the cell, mother and lover converse on the cot, as nearby, warrior claws at the walls. On the benches, ruler and priestess sit. Virgin, writer, and messenger sit in a corner, braiding each other's hair. Daughter sits alone in the opposite corner of the room. The women, once talkative or lost in their own world, turn and look at Sofia. The door slams behind her. Immediately, Warrior rushes to the door, trying to pull it open, but slumps to the ground, defeated. Silence.
Good evening, ladies. My name is Sofia Abbasi. I'm your court-appointed counselor.
Counselor? Counselor for what?
She means an attorney.
And why would we need an attorney?
For your trial? Tomorrow morning? No one prepped you?
No, you're the first person we've seen in a while.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm here to defend you before a jury of your peers.
A jury of our peers? Then we're surely doomed.
What? Afraid they're all little Puritan girls?
And what crimes are we being tried for, Ms. Abbasi?
Defamation of character, obstruction of the peace, evasion of the law, manslaughter on multiple counts, prostitution, witchcraft. Shall I go on?
And who's making such allegations?
Despite all rational thought, humanity.
And the saga continues.
Now, ladies, just by skimming your files, I can tell you this trial isn't necessary.
Thank you.
Instead, I think you all need deep psychiatric help. An insanity plea could...
What?
I'm sorry, maybe that came out wrong. I just want to give you your best chance. I don't mean to judge, but clearly...
Oh, please. We're no strangers to judgment. That's in our nature as women, to be judged.
I'm not judging. I'm skeptical is all. Your files are like plagiarized Wikipedia articles. I know you all think that, you're these women, however...
It's not a matter of thinking, it's a matter of being.
You don't believe us, do you?
Well, that's what I hope to find out, but realistically speaking, if you are telling the truth, the fact that some of you are even standing here is a miracle and breaks multiple laws of nature. So, at the moment, no, I don't believe.
Why do I suspect that belief is hard for you, Counselor?
What does that have to do with anything?
It has to do with everything.
What makes you think that you can bust through that door and start telling us we are wrong? What gives you that right?
Watch your tone. I'm not the one on trial here.
I apologize. We're just taken off guard.
Ladies, I wish you were given someone who could indulge you more, but we might as well make the best of it. Now, let's start off with some basic information.
She takes out her recorder.
How did you get here?
Didn't you say that...
I want it in your own words. What did you do to end up here?
That's the thing, Counselor. We don't know.
You don't know?
We all remember darkness, then we awakened here by the hands of God, awaiting judgment.
More like everlasting torment.
We've been here for a while.
Watching the world turn.
Seeing how pathetic everyone's become.
But with no answers of what this place is or how we appeared here.
Let me get this straight. So you all just magically showed up in the cell? No rhyme or reason?
I can think of a few reasons.
Well, then, what is the last thing you remember before the darkness?
His face.
The light.
Her smirk.
The blood.
The screams.
The flames.
The gunshots.
Okay. Why don't I speak to you all individually? It might be easier for me to get some straight answers that way.
She opens up her briefcase and grabs the file.
Mary.
Yes?
Yes?
Mary Tudor.
Yes.
Sofia walks to Ruler and sits down beside her. Ruler holds out her hand, expecting Sofia to kiss it. Sofia, noticing the gesture, simply shakes it. She then presses record.
What are you doing?
Just recording our conversation. I'd like to have the audio so I don't forget afterward.
You know who you're talking to.
Well, if you allow me to get started, I'm sure I will. Work with me, please. I'm just going to start by asking you some basic questions. Make sure that everything lines up. Now, to begin, what is your full name?
You know my name.
It would be easier if you just comply. Please. Your name.
Queen Mary I of England.
And you were...
Daughter of Henry of England and Catherine of Aragon. Wife of Philip of Spain. Champion of the Roman Catholic Church.
Mary would have been fine.
You ask for my name, you ask for my titles. Did you not want all the information?
Very well. And you were born on February 18th,
1516.
1516.
Yes, and I look pretty good for 500 years old.
500 years old?
Yes, must you repeat everything I say?
Okay, Mary, I need you to cooperate. How old are you? Really?
I've given you your answer.
Well, the answer is wrong.
You dare call me a liar?
Well, I'm not buying it, and neither will a jury.
You are beginning to anger me. Do you forget your place?
No. Do you?
I will not be spoken to like this. A queen!
Enough! I have actual work to do, so if you're not willing to help me...
Do not raise your voice to a queen.
You're not a queen. None of you are who you say you are. The more you defend these identities, the more I need to work on this plea.
Madam, where is your faith?
I tend to stick to facts and win my cases with logic. Faith doesn't do you any good in court.
Logic doesn't answer all of life's questions.
Have you replaced belief with logic, Miss Abbasi?
That isn't really any of your business. My religion isn't on trial here.
Religion? Did we say religion?
Religion is very different from faith, Sophia.
In what world?
Let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Jesus Christ, I forgot there was a kid.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain.
Excuse me?
People like you aren't fit to say his name.
Agnes!
Agnes! That wasn't very nice.
I know, but...
Now what have I told you?
Word have power.
Good. Now say you're sorry.
I don't have to say I'm sorry to her.
Yes, you do. People may not see the world like you do, but that shouldn't cloud your judgment.
Cheat!
No buts. Forgiveness is always kinder than force.
I'm sorry, Miss Abbasi. My words weren't very Christian.
Well, thank you very much.
But your job is pointless. Only God can help us, so you might as well leave.
Agnes! Sophia, I apologize for her frankness. May I introduce you to Agnes of Rome?
Wait, is she blindfolded?
Yes, but she...
Why is she... Has no one tried to help?
Oh, it's not that simple.
What are you all just standing there for? What's wrong with you people?
Sophia,
this has gone way too far. Hi, sweetheart. I'm sorry for what I said before, but I'm here to protect you. Now, I need to know, have they hurt you?
Who?
These women.
Here? No, they haven't touched me.
Honey, let me...
No, don't touch me! Don't come near me! Mother!
What did I do?
Nothing. She just doesn't like to be touched.
I was trying to tell you. She suffered much in the name of my son.
No, she suffered much in the name of blind faith. He had nothing to do with it.
How could you say that? He loved me.
He didn't know you.
Yes, he did. He knew my entire soul. You're just jealous because he was my husband.
And here we go.
Mary, it was just a schoolgirl's crush.
It was not a crush. I was devoted. I renounced the Roman gods and gave myself to him. We were bound for eternity. It was a big deal.
Are you serious?
I take God very seriously.
And you're how old?
12 3/4. How old are you?
Enough, Agnes. Take off that stupid thing and cooperate. Life isn't all ignorant bliss, and no one's buying the faithful, innocent act, especially not him.
And you're referring to...
Jesus Christ, my once and future king.
He was a man, Agnes, not some symbol on a cross.
Well, maybe he wanted to be worshipped. Maybe he chose me because I saw him for more than just flesh and blood.
He didn't choose you. You signed up for the church. See where that got you.
Enough! Both of you, you're acting like children.
She is a child.
And you should remember that.
I still don't understand. What happened?
Men wanted my hand. I came from a noble family, and in Rome, That meant everything. But I had so much to do, so many places to go, so many lessons to teach. I may have been young, but I was a devout follower. When they came to woo me, I'd simply reply, Jesus Christ already has my hand. They weren't happy with me, but I didn't care. I was content with my vows. I became a model of the church.
If you were so great, then why are you here?
I don't know. To save you all? To bring you to heaven.
To save us?
Yes, my job wasn't done.
Why? Because we're so sinful and you're so pure.
Mary.
Yes.
Really? So if we want to be a pure follower, we have to be like you.
It wouldn't hurt.
So we must be dragged through the streets in the black of night, naked and cold, with men grabbing and groping at us?
Mary!
Jesus protected me. He wrapped me in his arms, gliding me over the street, shielding me from their eyes.
And how long did that last? Care to tell Sofia what happened next?
Lover tears off the blindfold. Virgin looks long and hard at Lover, then at Sofia. She then slowly begins to feel the long scar on her neck.
They weren't satisfied. They tied me to a pyre and tried to burn me. At first, the wood wouldn't catch, answering my prayers, but they weren't patient. One of them, he drew his sword, and he...
Enough! Enough!
Ryder cradles her. Sofia turns off the recorder. Silence.
Even if I could, even if I wanted to indulge this, I don't understand. How can you speak so highly of some entity that abandoned you? You're so young, you had so much to offer. Doesn't that bother you?
No.
Why?
My faith is unwavering. I love Jesus with no bounds.
Doesn't this bother anyone?
It bothers me. She isn't the first to have followed this path, and she isn't the last. She was a pawn in a newly forming church. Was it worth it, Agnes? You traded one set of idols for another, and you died for it. And still you choose to blindly follow it.
Well, I'd rather I died standing for something than living with no purpose. Not that you would understand anything about virtue.
Excuse me?
Mary, it's okay.
No. What did you say to her?
No one knows, Mary. Let them think what they want.
I only think what the church wants me to think.
Right. Sinner first, then saint.
Lover takes a breath and then kneels in front of Virgin. She lays the blindfold in Virgin's lap as a peace offering.
Agnes, I just want...
Look at who wants to be sisterly now.
Agnes, I get frustrated with you because I was you. I was not some whore or prostitute or harlot. I was just broken. The 7 demons, they called them. I would have these fits. My body took on a life of its own while I retreated in my mind.
It's a terrible thing when the mind betrays the soul.
My family abandoned me at a brothel in Magdalene, and I was forced into a life of servitude. A daughter of Eve. But just when I thought all was lost, out of everyone in Galilee, he found me. And I too fell under the spell of the miracle worker from Nazareth. He touched me and my pain melted away.
You gave yourself to him?
You could say that. He looked into my eyes and held me, and for once, I felt whole. But the difference between you and me is that I knew him in the flesh. And I knew he felt it too, with somebody who only seconds before was not fit to love anyone. Or I thought he did. I followed him for a year, helping him perform his miracles, listening to his sermons. When I felt unworthy in his company, he just touched my face, and those thoughts would disappear. I would forget who he was and what I was, I just wonder what our life could have been.
And what did you imagine?
It doesn't matter. It never could have been. This was the very man who could only be married to his fate, who could only be intimate with his own words. His vows were made long ago, and I knew he couldn't risk breaking them. I hated him, for I could never have him.
You don't mean that.
Lover turns to find the sun staring at her, tears in his eyes. She looks around, and the rest of the room is frozen in time.
Now? After all this time, you come here now?
Mary.
Don't! Why was I cursed to love you?
I needed someone to ground me.
Was that all I was to you? And after I was gone, you had to keep on and finding more and more? God, I guess it really wasn't enough.
No, if you don't think I wanted to be every bit as intimate with you as you want.
Lie to me. You, the absolver of sin. You couldn't absolve your own?
It doesn't work like that. I had a destiny I couldn't break.
You made me love you. And then you made me watch you die. I knelt at your feet until the very last breath fell from your lips. And even then I waited. I never stopped waiting. And then you disappeared. And you appeared to me before anyone else. And then you were gone again without so much as a goodbye or a sliver of hope.
Mary, you have to understand, my father had a plan.
Your father always has a plan. But you couldn't let me in on it. You just disappeared, and I didn't know if you would be back or what would happen to me or how you felt. About your life, your death. Me? What I was doing in your name. And then here, I had to watch more girls fall the same way I did. I had to remind myself that I was the first. But, I mean, that had to mean something, did it? I know we all had to make sacrifices, but did mine mean anything? I lost you. I lost my reputation. I lost my heart. And for what?
The sun holds her, but she pushes him away, beat. He grabs her and pulls her into a kiss.
I love you, Miriam.
You remembered?
It was always more beautiful than Mary.
I still miss you.
I know.
I still need you.
That's not true. You are stronger than you could possibly believe. And I promise I will do right by you. But till then, know that with every fiber of my being, whatever humanity still lies within me, it yearns for you.
But you could have done
I had no choice. I never had a choice. If I did, I would have been there with you. I would choose you again and again till the end of eternity.
The sun pulls himself away, as if by a higher power, despite Lover's resistance.
I love you.
He exits, silence. The room unfreezes, unaware of the moment that just took place. Lover looks around, trying to collect herself.
I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. I don't need your pity. I don't look for pity. I look for respect. I did a lot in his name after he was gone. Mary and I carried on his legacy. And yet, where is my gospel? Oh, that's right. It was hidden along with any actual memory of the woman I was. I was painted a whore by the very church I helped create. While they remember Jesus as a god, maybe it would have been useful for someone to remember him as a man.
Virgin looks at Lover and embraces her.
Thank you.
What is this for?
For paving the way. for being strong.
I wasn't strong. I was just in love.
Pardon-moi. You do not think that is your strength?
I'm not like you, Joan. I didn't command any armies.
You led in your own way.
The sainted mother is right. You led as all women can lead, with your heart and your soul, not with brute strength. With the faith of the Lord on her side, a woman could ride to the front of the lines and end tyranny.
She could also be called a witch.
Psychotic.
Rebel.
And be burned for her crimes.
Yes, she could, but aren't some battles worth fighting? If I didn't fight, my entire country would have been lost.
You never doubted yourself?
Doubt isn't always a negative, my friend. Doubt can be a gateway for discovery. When faith is tried, you search for the answer until faith is restored. That's what Spirit willed me to do. If I didn't have doubt, I would never have been able to pass his test.
These spirits, Margaret and Catherine and...
Not spirits, Sophia. I mean the Spirit, the very will of God. I felt him with me since I was a little girl, listening to bells whisper conversations to me on the hills. Their support gave me strength.
You were captured and burned at the stake.
A fiery end to a fiery beginning, no? We must all make sacrifices. Without me, France would be a wasteland run by false kings. I liberated my people, soaring on the words of the angels and emblazoned in the light of my Lord.
And now look what's become of you. Once again on trial, trapped in a cell.
What did you say?
Warrior begins to notice her surroundings again and begins to panic. She starts banging on the walls, trying to find a way out.
You had to remind her?
Warrior runs center stage and crumbles to the floor, screaming. The women disappear into the darkness and the space goes dim. Warrior is now back in her cell at Compiègne, days before her execution.
Lord, why have you forsaken me? I have done what you asked. I have proven myself worthy. I have led my people. It's so dark. So dark, I cannot hear you. I'm not crazy! You hear me, you tired old men? I'm not crazy! I used to think it was a blessing to roam the wild fields and hear the whispers of the heavens, to let my soul mingle with the angels and be God's hand. Then I thought the voices were a plague, shunning me from the people I wished to lead. Now without them, I realize I am not whole. Would it be too much to ask for water? Where is your Christian decency? They call me a witch. They say your miracles are acts of darkness, and now I can be given my freedom. If I denounce you, if I say I never felt you within me, do I save my body or my soul? If you can hear me, I ask for guidance. I am so lost, and it is a feeling I am not accustomed to.
The spirit emerges and grabs Warrior from behind, one hand placed on her head, the other on her heart. She begins to convulse at their touch.
I have not left you, Joan. Your journey has been long, and yet your suffering is almost over. You know which choice to make. You, my loyal servant, have proven yourself to me. Now face these moments before you with an open heart, and forget your fear. And remember, I am with you, Joan. Never doubt my love.
They let her go and disappear. The women reappear as the space transforms back to normal. Warrior collects herself.
Thus the Maid of Orleans became the martyr of martyrs, a woman whose faith was both her emblem and her tombstone. And yet, if I were to do it all again, to put my life in danger for the sake of God, I would do it all again in a heartbeat. Not for the fame or the glory, just to hear those sweet voices again.
Joan, I assure you, schizophrenia is treatable these days. We can get you help.
She's not crazy. She's just weak. She had power and didn't know how to wield it. She let it crush her.
I did no such thing. I fought with all my spirit.
That's your folly. Fighting can only do so much when you show all your cards. You let them see your weakness. Instead of concealing your faith as a weapon, you used it as an emblem.
She died a hero. She wasn't just given a place in history because of a crown. Some of us would give anything to be remembered like that.
I fought just as hard for my place on that throne. My father was a tyrant, cutting off my country to the church just to divorce my mother. He declared me illegitimate, and I watched as more women came into his bed and more children crawled out. I had to bide my time. But when I finally wore the crown, I declared I'd make the church whole again.
You killed hundreds of innocent people doing it.
They were Protestant supporters of Edward and ultimately my father. The Catholic Church had to come back. God had to be feared. I had to make examples for my people. Once they knew what was at stake, I could move England back into its glory. Without me, Britain would still be in the Dark Ages.
Forgive me, but wasn't it Elizabeth that...
Always with Elizabeth! Everyone forgets who the first was to rule without a man by her side. I united my people against the rest of the world, not her. She took the framework of what I made and credited herself.
I sense some sisterly jealousy.
She was no sister. She was a radical like my father. The moment I could, I placed her under house arrest as the criminal she was, and still the people backed her.
Well, she did have the love of the people.
Love. You don't need love to rule. You need respect. And to garner respect, you need fear. You need to create a war. Something so compelling any commoner or lord could be emboldened by it. Who better to fight for than God? Faith can band people together. It can be used to create revolutions, truces, crusades, genocides. You just have to know how to wield it. The pharaohs knew. Roman emperors knew. Why not the Britons?
Oh, get rid of anyone who doesn't agree with you? That's a solid strategy.
I was prepared to purify my country, no matter what the cost. Every ruler has to make sacrifices to weed out the loyal from the rabble. I only wish my child could have continued my legacy.
You were pregnant.
I was, for almost 14 months, with my Philip's child before...
Before what?
Ruler runs her hands over an imaginary baby bump, wistful and melancholy.
I lost. Then I lost my life.
Mary, you do know that...
Priestess gives mother a sharp look and then kneels to ruler.
Read. Think of Anne, long after you, with her rabbits. You were lucky. Your heart left when he did. You didn't have to live with that sorrow.
Ruler has a moment of vulnerability and embraces priestess. Mother moves to Sofia.
It was a hysterical pregnancy, an ovarian cyst. When it bled out, it looked like a miscarriage. She didn't live long enough to know the difference.
I just wanted to make a better England for my child. I wanted an England that was just and righteous and pure, and that meant pulling out the weeds.
Is that what they were to you? Weeds? They were people.
They were rebels.
They had families and lives and loves. Instead, you hunted them for something that was out of their control. They worshiped your same God, and yet you made them another? You divided your people.
S'il vous plaît, our fight is not with each other.
She is right. I need facts, not debates.
What good are facts? Facts are black and white. What about the gray?
A jury needs black and white, and I need evidence in order to convince them that...
Convince them? How can you do that? You don't believe us. You think we are insane.
I haven't said that...
Play back your tape and prove it.
Liz, stop it. You need to calm down.
I don't want to calm down. It's fine when we're sitting here in silence or making small talk, but now we have to listen and it's too much.
I know. But maybe if we listen, we can...
We were the weeds that needed to be pulled. Doesn't matter who's doing the pulling. It just happens out of nowhere. And we can't stop it. Doesn't that make you angry? Because we were different. People like her got rid of us.
Human greatness does not lie in wealth or power, but in character and goodness. The world has judged Bloody Mary. I say, we have the power to forgive.
That's a quote from...
my diary.
You want me to truly believe? I want to talk to Anne.
What?
You're supposed to be Anne Frank? Then you're potentially the only voice a jury would know. Your diary is one of the most read books of all time. You could be our chance.
No, she doesn't owe you anything.
Liz.
Why are you fighting me? I'm just trying to help.
People like you don't know how to help.
People like you, people like her, what's that supposed to mean?
She's afraid of you.
No, I'm not.
Afraid of me? Why?
Put me in front of two Germans. How can I tell who's my enemy and who's my friend?
This makes no sense. I'm your friend.
I know that. But I don't see what Liz sees.
But I'm beginning to. God, no matter how far I run, I can't get away.
Welcome to my world. My people have been running all of our lives. For generations. We just wanted to feel safe. And then we were hunted like animals. All we had was each other against the rest of the world.
Virgin kneels next to Ryder.
You had God.
I'd like to believe we did. God gave us hope. He gave us a community of shoulders to lean on.
A wave of realization washes over her. Ryder grabs Virgin's hand, pulling her tighter and tighter against her as she spirals.
But when everyone is leaning, who is left to stand tall?
Anne?
Who is left to clean up the mess?
Anne?
My father was alone. He had to go on without any of us, but he had God.
Anne.
I watched children ripped from their mothers and walk into the darkness, but they had God.
Anne.
They liberated Bergen-Belsen weeks after I was gone. If I had God, if Margot and I had God, why couldn't we have waited? Why couldn't we have joined my father?
I don't know.
Ryder snaps out of it and looks at the frightened Virgin in her arms. She releases her as Mother kneels by Ryder's side, blotting the sweat from her forehead.
Anne, it wasn't that easy.
He lived, Mary. He lived. And yet I'm the one still alive. My words carry on. And yet he actually was there to tell this story. How is that fair? How is any of this fair?
She speaks?
You don't get to talk.
I have more right than anyone else. I had to sit here and watch you all suffer.
Suffer because of you. You damned us all.
She made mistakes. She's only human.
Isn't that the truth?
Wait. So, you're Eve?
In the flesh.
But you're so young.
It seems to be a common theme. Innocence begetting misery. A cycle I had to watch time and time again.
You know nothing of what we've gone through.
I know everything of it. I've known you all long before you ever set foot in here. I've watched you all grow up. I know your secrets, your desires, your lies. I know them because I've shared them.
You've shared nothing with us other than misery.
I've shared far more. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're all filled with my pain.
That's the problem. Shouldn't we be past that? The pain. I mean, I don't feel hate anymore. It was never really worth my time, and I didn't have much to begin with. But I've been through so much. And it's only now that I feel like I'm losing my faith.
Anne, when we're alive, we only live from moment to moment. It is only once we're gone that we're able to fully reflect on our lives.
That's when regret and doubt sets in.
It's not doubt. It's anger. I know I shouldn't be angry with him, but I am. How can someone create billions of people and then let them destroy each other?
Especially in his name.
You know, I used to have so much hope. Being trapped, strangely, does that to you. Writing wasn't just my hobby. It was my escape. When I wanted to share my story, the version I wanted told was half done. I was still rewriting my diary when they found us. What my father found, what my father exploited. It wasn't meant for all eyes to see. My legacy became an invasion of my privacy. And then the world took advantage and dissected every sentence. I was one out of millions. I was one number out of millions.
Ryder begins to trace the numbers on her arm, then claws at them.
825271. 825271. 825271. 825271. Why am I put on some pedestal? Why my words?
Sofia stops Ryder from breaking the skin and holds her hand. Sofia looks at the tattoo and slowly begins to run her fingers over it, examining it. The proof begins to register with her.
And I'm so sorry.
I just find it all so unfair. Even now, I can't join my family. I live on, while thousands go nameless. Why?
Some things aren't meant to be.
Because he says so?
Yes.
Why?
What?
Why? Why is that the acceptable answer? I'm so tired of looking to him and feeling like I'm invisible. Like my wants and cares mean nothing.
He has a lot on his plate.
You should defend him.
He is God.
That's not an excuse. Man has every right to be angry. All of us do.
He pushed us to be our best selves.
Then martyred us for them.
She has a point.
You're agreeing with her?
I've been at the hands of holy men. I didn't feel God by my side.
Then your belief wasn't pure.
Who made you the expert on purity?
I am the saint of it.
What I had with Jesus was pure. And God screwed me over for that.
Well, maybe you weren't fit to love him.
I swear, don't swear.
Everyone just take a deep breath. Feel the wind.
There is no wind.
Then listen for the bells.
Enough, Joan! There aren't any bells. He isn't here. I know he isn't. And if he is, then he's probably just watching from the shadows, laughing at us.
That's not true.
Mary, what do you think?
No parent is perfect.
That's not an answer.
What do you think, Mary?
After everything he put you through.
Son you bestowed on the world.
The destruction he's caused.
Think of your heartbreak.
Think of your strength.
What do you think?
I don't know! Stop asking me questions I don't know the answer to. I'm just one person. I've only been one person.
Mary.
Everyone freezes as Mother turns to find the father center stage.
What did you do to them?
You needed some time to reflect.
I've had plenty of time to reflect. I'm sorry. I guess I'm just not used to speaking to you in person. Why me? Out of all the women in the world, why me? I'm just human. I'm not extraordinary like you or my son. They pray to me, but I can't protect them. I can't stop their pain. I can't heal the world. I don't have that gift.
Of course you do.
No, my son did. If I could heal, he would still be standing next to me.
Sometimes it is the soul that needs healing. I would not have burdened you if I didn't think you could.
But you did burden me. I was just a girl. I tried the best I could, but I was always afraid. I was afraid of what the world would do to him, what he would do to the world. Did you know? Did you know all the pain and suffering that came along with our child?
What about all the love and hope?
Did you know?
Of course I knew. You're stronger than you know, Mary.
But I'm not. I'm not this pillar of strength. Even in death, I have no peace. I close my eyes, and all I hear is people praying to me. I open my eyes, there are these women looking back at me, seeking my guidance. I can't escape.
Maybe they look to find the power within themselves.
Easy for you to say. You're used to all of this. You're you. I didn't want any of this. I just wanted to love my son.
And that you have done.
Only for him to be taken from me. I haven't seen him in 2 millennia. What's the big secret? I know he's up there. Why keep him from me?
Mary, there are rules.
Stop with the excuses. You make the rules.
I understand.
No! Stop thinking you know how I feel.
I wasn't.
Yes, you were. You may have created all of us, but you did not give birth to us. I labored for 9 months. I gave birth to the most precious thing in the world to me, and I helped him grow up. You watched him become a man. What about all the scraped knees and long nights? Where were you?
Mary, please.
I'm sorry. I know that wasn't part of the deal. But I put everything into our boy. And then one day, poof, he disappears from my life. And I know he's fine. Obviously, he has to be. But I don't remember this ever being part of the arrangement.
My child.
No, I'm not the child you owe an apology to. I've had to sit in a room with that poor girl, watching the gears turn in her head. Children make mistakes, but it's up to us to forgive them. Same with parents. Is that why he won't see me? Did I screw up? Did I hurt him? Was I not good enough?
The son appears, wrapping his arms around Mother. She flips around, examining his face, tears in her eyes.
You're okay?
Yes, Mother, I am.
I've missed you.
Mother, I can't stay long.
What? But why?
We have a battle to win.
A battle?
Our words aren't our words anymore, Mother, and they haven't been for a while.
That can't be.
They revel in the books, but don't read behind the parables.
They don't sense my love, yet fight for my approval.
But...
We're just as trapped as you, Mary. We need the truth to be heard as well.
You sent her, didn't you? Why? What's going on? Don't you dare leave me in the dark again! What is going on?
The son breaks from his embrace with Mother.
Oh, please stop!
Mother begins to cry as the father and the son exit.
I love you.
Everyone else unfreezes, unaware of the conversation. She looks up and sees Lover and immediately embraces her.
My son was here.
But that's not
possible.
I'm sorry. I need a smoke.
You can't leave, you're not done.
I'm just going outside for a minute.
Will you surrender the fight now?
Joan, I'm coming right back.
No. You should leave.
What?
You've done nothing but doubt us since you arrived. You don't want to help. People like you only want to destroy.
There it is again. People like me. Tell me, what do you see when you look at me? What do you all see when you look at me?
Annoyed, Sofia takes Lover's headdress and turns it into a rudely made hijab.
Is that more like it? You know, for someone who cares so much about the weeds being pulled, you like to start yanking. When I look at all of you, I don't see religion. I see women. I see people with stories. I mean, crazy stories, but now I believe true stories. And Allah would want me to fight for the truth.
Liar.
Excuse me?
Your God is about oppression.
My God is about liberation.
Your God only wants to destroy.
Extremists. Every faith has radicals.
But Sharia law is...
Sharia law is about balance. It's about protecting equality of life and property and justice. Well, it can't be as backwards as the Bible unless men still stone their wives.
Your God is...
What? What are you going to tell me about my God that I don't already know?
Your God, my God, they're all the same.
I'm sorry, I can't believe that.
Perhaps we should listen.
Are you on her side, Anne?
There are no sides. I'm here to help.
You're here because it's your job.
Yes, and I'm trying to do it.
Not very well.
I'm sorry, but no one asked for you to be here. You don't belong. You don't believe us. It's only going to lead to bad things.
How can you be so sure of that?
Because...
Messenger pulls down a side of her shirt to reveal a large circular scar above her breast.
Is that from
a bullet? Yes. From the last time a Muslim didn't like what I stood for.
I'm sorry, but I'm not.
You're not what?
Sofia looks at the women and begins to back away. Mother inches towards her.
Sofia.
Don't touch me. All of you, just get away from me.
But what about the case?
I withdraw myself from this case.
What?
I'm sorry. I don't know why I was even given this in the first place. It's like one big cosmic joke. 4 Christians, 4 Jews, and Eve sit in a room. A Muslim walks in. Well, I'm not waiting around for the punchline.
But what about the consequences?
I don't really care. I just need to get out of here. I need to be alone.
Sofia, remember, in battle, we must fight until the end.
This isn't a battle. This is the firing brigade. How can I defend you if you don't trust me?
But we do trust you.
No. No, you don't.
If you just listen, Sofia, please stop. We need you.
Sofia opens the door to exit, and Warrior tries to follow but stops. She begins to claw at her throat, falling to the ground in pain. She opens her mouth as if to speak, but nothing comes out. Lover rushes to her side.
Joan?
Warrior turns to her. Sofia runs and kneels next to Warrior.
Joan, what's wrong?
Warrior opens her mouth mournfully. Silence.
What did you do to her?
Joan, speak to me. What's wrong? Medic!
Stop. It won't matter.
What do you mean?
It's too late.
How can it be too late? We don't know what's wrong. Joan, just tell me what's going on.
We can't, Sofia. They silenced her.
What?
Silencing?
That still happens?
You all asked about consequences, and you got them.
What is a silencing?
It's an ancient ritual.
When the powers that be don't like the power your voice can have.
They silence you, allowing them to control of your narrative.
They? Who's they?
God.
God isn't a they, God's a he.
You. But my father can change shape and form. He can be everywhere and nowhere all at once.
But silencing is an old wives' tale.
Does this look like an old wives' tale?
I refuse to believe this is their work.
It's not. It's humanity.
What?
Humanity has a narrative they seek to control. If it's true that we're really up against humanity, then they will stop at nothing to keep their image alive.
How do you know?
I've seen this all before. They want to rewrite our stories to fit their needs. They're trying to erase the truth.
They can't do that, can they?
They've been doing it for centuries. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves.
Matthew 7:15.
I know the book well, though I don't worship it. I've watched men pick and choose the verses that suffice them. They preach to empty minds, filling them with fantasies and falsehoods, bolstering fear and hatred into hearts until they act only in the preacher's name, not God's. You think that's changed? It's only grown stronger. Only now, they've turned their attention to history books too. They don't care about the truth. In fact, they seek to twist it completely in order to be the victor.
But why us?
Because we are the outliers. We are the ones who fought against the side.
Who's next?
It could be any of us. At any time. Joan was a warrior. You take her out, and you take out the will to fight. We must be a united front now, for I suspect they'll come for us in order of who's most dangerous to their cause.
Dangerous? You're one to talk.
You remind me of a girl I once knew. She too saw my worship as a threat, but I worshipped my Lord just the same as you. I worshipped the rains and the earth and even death himself. But that didn't matter to her. You see, Salem may not have been the easiest place to live before, but once the Puritans believed we had a witch in our midst, we descended into chaos. I watched dozens of innocent women walk to their deaths at the hand of wicked little girls spreading lies.
But weren't you practicing witchcraft?
I was performing rituals, celebrating my customs. My people understood the Lord in his most simple form, nature itself. But still, you didn't understand. You insisted that God is a weapon. God is not a weapon. Rhetoric is a weapon. It cages people up like animals because they believe they have a connection. It defiles young girls who give themselves over to a higher power. It is a way to confine all those who believe differently and condemn them. It is a weapon of mass destruction, and it will crush anything in its path.
That's not true.
Take a look at the girl and say that again.
It's not the same.
Oh, but isn't it? Our prejudice and bigotry, our petty squabbles, they cause Joan her voice. Maybe soon all our voices, and our freedom along with it. And for what? To further separate us? We have to stand together.
But that doesn't work. People will always find reasons to blame the other, even for things out of their control.
But you're still here, Sofia.
Stronger. To stand in the face of adversity and do what's right.
But I don't feel strong. I feel ashamed and scared. We can look at all of this as one isolated incident, but it's not. This has been my entire life. This has been so many people's lives, years of bullying and harassment. I tried to stay connected. I told myself, kids are just cruel. Mean kids grow up to be mean adults who think they know everything about Islam because they read a Wikipedia article or watched the news. Well, newsflash. Those extremists are a minority in a sea of innocent people. I'm an American, born and raised, but ever since those towers went down, I'm looked at as a terrorist in my own neighborhood. And I want to embrace my faith, but...
How can you in a world that tells you it's wrong?
Yeah. I mean, I heard the whispers down the hallways. I saw the way they would tug at a girl's hijab or tell us to go back to our own country. I wanted to be an American, not a Muslim American. So I stopped going to the mosque and I threw myself into work. But no matter what I did, I was a Muslim first. And not only that, I was a Muslim woman. I would be educated how backwards my religion was, how my culture patronizes women and takes away our rights, how barbaric and savage we are. And I tried to correct them. But how can I? When I look around and see girls in the Middle East burned by devout men, a Supreme Court justice murdered because of where she chooses to pray, a bombing at a concert filled with children in order to prove a radical point. I mean, you try to keep faith in this world, but it doesn't make a damn bit of difference.
Maybe it's not as simple as having faith.
And what is it? Enlighten me.
Believing in it? Feeling his strength within you?
I don't feel him. I haven't in a long time. You all talk about how God was there for you in time of your need. Well, how nice for you. Maybe Allah made the conscious decision to turn his back on me. I spent years of my life reaching out, praying for guidance, and I got nothing. And without feeling Allah around me, I just feel more and more alone.
Everyone looks at her. Silence. Virgin puts back on the blindfold.
Maybe you should have left.
What?
She can't help us. Someone like her could never help us.
Agnes,
She doesn't believe in him, Mary. She doesn't believe at all.
She's lost her faith. Haven't we all at some point?
No.
No? God has cursed us and abandoned us and challenged us. And whether we're better for it or not, we all have grievances in our own way. That doesn't mean we don't still love him.
How can you speak like that?
Like what? I speak of truth. I don't have a blindfold to shield me from the harsh realities of the world. Being blind and ignorant doesn't mean you have faith. I've had my doubts, but doubts can be a gateway to reaffirm our faith. Right, Joan?
We don't have time for doubt. We need to save ourselves. We need to pray for salvation. We need to get out of here.
Agnes, please don't do that.
Virgin begins to frantically feel her way to the door. Lover tries to stop her.
Don't you see? This is our damnation. In their case, the God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel.
Virgin accidentally presses against the door and it opens for a moment. Lover stops and begins to claw at her throat. She too has been silenced. Chaos ensues.
Mary!
I didn't mean to do it! I didn't mean to!
Not as silenced. How many more of us have to pay?
Who's gonna be next?
Says the girl with the best-selling diary.
That's not fair.
Then I vote we sacrifice the virgin.
Stop, please.
She turns to Sofia.
I'm sorry. I always thought I was a part of the solution. But now I see I am just as much a part of the problem.
What?
I've heard these kinds of stories from countless people, and I still can't help but feel angry at the world. But now I'm angry at myself. Because God isn't in the writings of the Torah or the Bible or the Quran. God should be in our hearts. But instead we listen to scribbles and lies made years and years ago and feed into the fear and intolerance around us instead of fighting it.
But you did fight it.
For my friends, for other people, but not for everyone. How can I preach love if I'm a hypocrite?
You're not a hypocrite.
How do you know? I'm not like all of you. I don't even know how I really feel. I never got to voice it. I never got the chance to truly act on it, to make an impact.
You died making an impact.
But it doesn't feel like enough. I didn't get to do enough. I didn't write a diary or start a church or lead men into battle. I was protecting my friends. But here, who have I protected but my own heart? God is in the love you receive, but also the love you give. We are allowing anger to blind us.
That's the way the world turns.
Doesn't have to be. Tolerance is not an option when acceptance can be on the table. When we can forgive our neighbors and ask for forgiveness in return. Sofia, I'm so sorry. I just saw you and
Fear can make people strangers, even to themselves.
Can we start again, please?
Sofia outstretches her hand.
I'm Sofia.
Liz.
They shake.
Liz?
Yes, Liz. Liz Trobishi.
Liz. Oh, God, I feel so terrible.
Why?
I don't know who you are.
Yes, you do. It should all be right there in your paperwork.
It's not.
Messenger takes a moment, then runs to the files on the floor. She opens them, tearing them apart until she gets to her folder. She opens it and realizes that there's only one piece of paper. She reads it aloud, finding a vague paragraph-long obituary. She looks back at the group, but everyone is shocked. She sees the tape recorder and grabs it desperately. She then sits down in front of Sofia and clicks record.
My name is Liz Trobishi. I am 16 years old as of August 2009. I worked at the LGBT Center in Tel Aviv, a safe house for kids who didn't have anywhere to go, whose families could never know who they were. They were afraid, but they were my friends. They were the most beautiful people I knew. On August 1st, 2009, we held a youth get-together event, and the room was cramped with people. Around 11 p.m., our front door slammed open and gunshots fired from a man in black. Everyone ran, but our only other exit was the terrace. So we tried to get everyone to hide under the beds and tables. Screams electrified the air. And for a second, I could see my supervisor near. Then the next, he was on the floor. I tried to run to him, but then I pray for the man who did it. How much hate must be in his heart? I pray for my parents and my brothers, who will never know that I died doing the right thing, living up to their legacy. And I pray most for those poor people who now they think they'll never be safe in this world. I wish they knew that a safe place isn't a physical thing, but it's the people around you. But my words mean nothing now. They'll never hear them. Not from my lips.
Messenger presses stop with tears in her eyes and looks up at Sofia. She thrusts the recorder into her hands.
Let the world hear my story. Please.
Let them hear all of our stories.
Ryder looks up towards the small window and notices a glimpse of light peeking through.
What time is it?
Almost 5:30.
You have so little time left.
Well, you have all of our stories.
Sofia looks at daughter.
That's not true.
Too late, Sofia. You can't just rewrite the oldest fable in the world.
But you can. Now is your chance. You can now speak your piece with your own words.
I admire you, Sofia. That yearning in your blood to keep moving forward. But you know as well as I, forgiveness is never that easy. It's my fault we're all here. I sinned and now the world sins.
Sister, you made a mistake. We've all made them, but God will always...
A mistake is forgetting what path you took in the woods. My mistakes are the reason why history sees women as weak, as whores and witches and figures of mistrust. You suffer because I suffered. You bleed because I bled. This cycle of pain is a curse, and I had to watch it continue again and again, no more.
But you can fight it.
I'm tired, Sofia. I'm tired of fighting and feeling. Judgment is like the tide. At some point, you've just got to give in. My heart can only take so many more stairs. My energy can only survive so many attacks. My constitution can only stand as strong as my name. I need this pain to be over.
So what do you suggest?
When that cell door opens at dawn, you will defend only one of us on trial. I will stand alone. All your sins, all your tragedies, they all stem from me, so let me absolve them. I'll take full responsibility. Let me be the scapegoat.
You would do that?
Yes. Contrary to what you might think of me, no one would believe my truth regardless. I want to give the rest of you The best chance that you have.
Eve, that's not the only way.
No, let her pay penance for her crimes.
Haven't we all paid enough?
No!
She takes daughter's hand.
I'm sorry, but no. I won't settle for that. I believe you. I believe all of you. And I will not leave here without your truth.
Okay.
Sofia clicks record on her tape recorder.
So, how did it begin?
You know how it began. My father created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th he rested. I was born out of Adam.
Eve, I don't want their story. I want yours.
Well, I always wanted more. Eden was perfection, but everything was laid out for us. I was never content with that, but Adam was. Believe it or not, I did love him. I still love him. He was bold, handsome, headstrong, simple. He would try to name things. The turtles would be rock movers. Oh, the stars were twinklers. They weren't bad exactly, but other titles bubbled inside me. It's like I knew every creature in my heart and their name just broke forth from my lips. My father was pleased with me. Adam, not so much.
The women and Sofia continue to listen to the story as if it was being told to them. The son enters as Adam. His presence pulls daughter back in time, and she physically releases her tension, becoming childlike.
Eve?
Oh, Adam, come look. Isn't she beautiful? I was thinking about calling her a deer.
A deer?
More specifically, a doe. Isn't that pretty?
Ugh.
Hey, you made her run off.
I'm gonna tell father.
No, please don't. I'm not hurting anything, Adam. I'm giving these creatures names.
That isn't your job, though.
I know that. I just thought that...
Father gave me this job.
I know. I'm sorry, Adam. I just wanted to help.
I know. And that's why I love you.
I love you too. But I want to explore and create.
Okay, but let me take care of all of that. The garden is my dominion.
Then what's mine?
Me, of course.
Tickles her under her ribcage and they begin to play. The father enters and beckons for daughter to join him as the son exits.
My child, come here. Eve, do you know how happy you make me? Your ingenuity and restless spirit make you truly my prize upon this earth.
Thank you, Father.
However, this garden is a place to be shared.
I know that.
And Adam feels that you are infringing on his share.
But that isn't my fault.
And I only want him to be as happy as you are. So, my fair daughter, any place to the north or east of the redwoods will be forbidden.
Forbidden? Father, I don't quite understand. So does that mean Adam isn't allowed in the west and the south?
No, my child. The entirety of the garden is for Adam to claim.
But that's not fair. Did I do something wrong? Have I made you angry? I'm so sorry, Father. Please forgive me.
Eve, my child, you've been the perfect angel on this earth. I'm only doing this so Adam can have his chance to prosper. Will you help a poor father ensure his son will come into his own?
Of course I will, Father. It's what I'm here for.
Oh, Eve, before you leave, one more thing. The tree of knowledge with its low-hanging fruit, you may never go near that tree or take its sweet gifts. It is forbidden. That is not a request.
What?
That is an order, young lady.
So what did father say?
forbidden for the north and east of garden. It's the word he kept using, forbidden.
Eve, I'm sorry.
The garden is yours to have, Adam. I never wanted to challenge that. I just wanted to help.
You can help by taking care of me.
But the garden takes care of us. What does that leave for me to do?
I never really thought about it.
How is that fair, Adam? I'm forbidden from parts of my own home while you roam free. Why can't I be entitled to that same freedom?
Because I am the son, and it is my birthright. You have to be satisfied with what you have.
Well, I'm not satisfied. What I have isn't enough.
What about me? What about us? Aren't we enough?
Of course.
Then stay with me. Be with me.
What about what I want?
I'll take care of that.
But you can't give that to me.
Haven't I already? I gave you my rib. I gave you a part of me.
That doesn't mean you own me. There has to be more than just this. I need more than just this.
Why?
Because I don't know what I'm capable of. I feel trapped. And if I don't leave now, I'll never know what I'm looking for. So please don't try to stop me. I'm sorry. I'll be back soon, I promise.
She kisses him and slowly takes off. The spirit emerges, now a serpent, standing at the foot of the tree. She begins to pass them.
Help me.
So this is the tree of knowledge. Doesn't look like much.
Please, someone help me.
Oh, I know I shouldn't, but how can I help?
How sweet of you. I've been trying to reach for one of these pomegranates, but even extending to my fullest height, I'm just not tall enough.
Oh, well, I'm sure there's a lower branch on the other side that probably you can reach.
So hungry and so tired from trying. Is there any way you can just grab me one?
I'm not really supposed to.
Do you know what these fruits hold?
Of course, knowledge.
How vague. Each seed of these pomegranates possesses a key to unlock one's potential, the power to know all the answers to the cosmos.
So why do you want one?
Because I think I'm worthy. I think I'm worth more than my limitations. I want to know what I'm capable of. Don't you?
Yes.
Split one with me and find out what lies underneath.
Daughter plucks a fruit from the tree and breaks it in half.
Being more.
She takes a bite. In that moment, time seems to slow down, and the Father, the Son, and the Spirit line up behind her in shadow.
Eve.
Daughter drops to her knees, and they form a semicircle around her, trapping her.
You have disobeyed me.
I didn't mean to.
You have stepped over the lines.
But you told
You
me.
have tasted the forbidden fruit.
But you wanted.
You must pay.
You shall bleed.
You shall feel pain.
You shall feel sorrow.
Shall become distant.
You will bear hardships.
Your belief will falter.
There is no easy way.
Your descendants will suffer.
Humanity's fall breaks from you.
You were cast out of Eden. All of humanity was cast out of Eden.
I just wanted more. And look where that got us.
As the three gods disappear back in time, daughter stares up at all of the women.
But you were just a child.
You didn't know better.
They cheated you.
So cruel.
They're not the villain here. I am. I put us all here. Or at least I put myself here.
But why?
I couldn't face him. Them. I couldn't face them. I didn't want to know my fate because when you've done what I've done.
And he would damn you.
Hadn't they already? My father expelled me from paradise. The spirit left me cold and alone. And Adam never looked at me the same way again. I tried to make up for it. I took care of him. I bore him children, and I tried my best with them too.
A mother can only try so hard.
Mary, your son was God incarnate. My son was a murderer. The first murderer. He had my fire in his blood, and with that fire, he killed my baby. My poor Abel. Can you imagine what that was like to be the first woman to ever experience all of those things? I had no mother to guide me. I had a father who turned his back on me and a husband who didn't understand me. I had been tested and I failed. I don't forgive myself, and neither does humanity. They've made me the mother of original sin. I ate some fruit and I'm the source of all damnation.
Lover walks to daughter and sits next to her, holding her hand. There is now a sense of reflection in them.
That's just it. We are all archetypes, mere shadows of ourselves, resorted to symbols after our time. A warrior, a lover,
a mother,
a ruler,
a messenger,
virgin, a writer,
a daughter,
a priestess. In our absence, they had to make sense of it all. Our actions live on, but our voices, they've become lost to time.
And why not? What we represent threatens them too much.
We try to challenge it and we're silenced.
If only they knew our real stories for the first time. Maybe they'd realize that all this fighting is pointless if we just can listen to each other.
Then maybe they need to know the truth.
How? With what time? With what power? It's not like we can walk out of here.
That's it.
What's it?
Sofia holds up the tape recorder.
I can show them the truth. I'll give them proof straight from your mouths. I will not speak your words. I'll let them hear them. Then they'll believe.
That'll work?
I'm sure of it. I just need a few more statements. I'm ready to fight for you. All of you.
The cell door opens to a hall of blinding light.
It can't be. I was supposed to have more time.
Sofia, as if by a higher power, is thrust from the room, the tape recorder flying out of her hands. The women reach for her.
No, I'm not ready.
As she passes, each woman is silenced in front of Sofia's eyes. The door slams behind Sofia and the women disappear into the darkness. She bangs on the door.
Open up. Somebody, Eve, Joan, somebody, open up. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Just use the tape and...
Looking for the tape recorder and it's not there.
No. That's my only chance. Damn it. Hi. I know I haven't talked to you in a while. This is so stupid. No, it's not. I'm sorry. I thought you hated me. But really, I hated myself because I thought you and the world hated me. And these women, they're here because they felt the same things in one way or another. And I think I know what I have to do, but I'm terrified.
Hello, Sofia.
Hello? Is someone there?
I'm everywhere. You can't see me, but you can sense me. I am thy will. I am the will of all people. I stir up passions and give strength to the weary. I was here long before anything, and will be here when everything's long gone.
Are you trying to say that you're...
Why are you scared, Sofia?
It's just too much. You're asking too much of me. Without that tape,
Why do you need the tape?
So they'll believe.
Do you believe?
Yes.
So why aren't you enough?
Because the world is filled with blind people who only want to hear and see what makes them feel comfortable. And all these other people are speaking for you, but they're getting the message wrong. What you're asking me to do, I need proof.
You have something more powerful.
They grab her and begin to hold her similarly to how they held Warrior. She allows their power to flow through her.
This isn't a battle of right or wrong. It's much grayer than that. You now know what it's like to live in my actions rather than their words. These women have shared that with you, and now your belief allows someone else the permission to believe and love and grow, for we will it so.
They release her. She is left clearer and more confident than before.
I waited half my life to sense you again.
Make us proud.
The spirit exits. A spotlight shines downstage center. Sofia finds her place in the light, and the women reappear in the shadows, silent, lined up behind her. After a deep breath, Sofia addresses the audience.
These women, these 9 extraordinary women have stood in the face of adversity and have overcome it by the sheer strength of their own belief. I will not stand here and demand that their words are fact. Facts have no place in this case. I'd rather have you doubt the facts of the prosecution and leave room for exploration. I'm here to defend the truth. God, Yahweh, Jesus, Allah, whatever you want to call them. You don't even have to believe in them to believe and support what they preach. Love. These women have felt them, and though they had their qualms, still love and honor them. They don't live by any other doctrine but their own heart. So how can everyone say that they know their God better than the rest and use their words to spout hate and discrimination? Do we not understand that these books have been passed down from generation to generation and are as muddied as any fairy tale or mythology? Kings and churches rewrote them to serve the messages they saw fit. And we use their version of their words to sanctify ourselves and demonize the rest of the world. I know firsthand the discrimination that religious fear and blind ambition can create. But talking to these women made me realize that religion is man-made and therefore it is flawed. You know what isn't flawed? Faith. The belief in a being that is so compelled by love that we're all here because of them. We all stem from the same place. If we're all brothers and sisters in their eyes, how can we constantly hurt each other in this world? How can we proclaim that we're better than anyone else if we're all created equal in their image with their love? Ask yourselves that. What do we gain by taking away people's voices in order for ours to be heard? So again, I'm not asking you to take this all as fact. It's so much more than that. Accepting facts is easy. Changing belief, understanding faith beyond your current comprehension, that's difficult. I know firsthand. So take these stories as you will, but understand that they will be heard. What happens from here is up to you. You have the ability to change the world. You have the ability to spread love and truth. You are now judge, jury, and executioner. Do your job well. The world is depending on you. Defense rests.
Blackout. End of play.
You can all come back on. Hello, everybody. My name is Justin Giacchetti. I am the playwright of Faith in Shackles. Thank you all for coming to the big historical theatrical event of July 3rd. Oh, wait, Hamilton's also today. That's fine, you're here. So that's all that matters. Let's go quickly around and just introduce ourselves and give a little bow. Oh, thank you, Kelsey. Yes, please comment, ask any questions. We're going to do a bit of a Q&A. We'll be done by like 10 o'clock, but we want to address any questions or comments you have towards us. But let's quickly go around and just introduce ourselves. Let's go in cast order, if that's okay. So let's start with Sofia, work our way down through the women, then go through the gods. That makes sense. So.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Muge, and I'm really happy to be here. And thank you for being with us tonight.
Margot.
Hi, I'm Margot. I'm Eve. This might be my favorite show ever, so thank you so much to everyone who's watched tonight. I think it's especially important in this time.
Hi, I'm Abby Anderson. This is my first time being a part of this show, and it's really been an amazing experience, so thanks for tuning in.
Hi, I'm Allie Coombs. I think this show is timeless and forever relevant, and I'm so glad we could do it on Zoom. Even though Zoom theater is so weird and new, it's so cool. So thank you everyone for being here.
Hey, my name's Anastasia. I just wanted to thank Justin for pulling us all together, getting us all in the same room, whether again or for the first time, and for making this happen today. I'm very thankful.
Hi, I'm Alden Gagnon. I played Joan of Arc /Warrior, and this is my second time doing this piece. I am just so grateful to this cast and creative team. They're all rock stars, and I connect with it because I know that faith is something that you find inside of yourself for yourself, and I think that's a truth that resonates within this piece. Thank you.
Hi, Corianne here. Happy to be back with this piece. Happy to be with all these wonderful people. And thanks so much for tuning in.
Hi, my name is Helene Dubois. This is my first time working on this piece with Justin, and I'm just so thankful that I was asked to be part of it, and just also so grateful for this cast for being so welcoming, and everyone works together so well.
Hi, I'm Anna. I played the writer / Anne Frank. Super grateful to be here, grateful to this cast and the production team and for everyone who tuned in tonight. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Kate. This is my second time working on this piece. And yeah, thank you everyone who watched tonight.
The father.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bob Quintana, and I am delighted to be part of this production. So thanks to Justin and everyone who is involved, and all of you watching out there.
Hi, my name is Forrest Villiano. Thanks to Justin, thanks to Liz, and thanks to everybody.
Hello, my name is Joshua Rivas. I use they, them, or she, her. If you're feeling feisty, I play the spirit, and I just feel really blessed to be a part of this group and for having Justin. And I learn something new every time I listen to this show, so I feel really honored. Thank you for watching.
And this whole process would not have been made possible without my amazing creative and technical team. Introduce yourselves. Let's start with Miss Liz.
Hi, everyone. I'm Liz. This is my second time directing this piece, fifth time involved at all. I was there for the inception when it was just a text message from Justin asking, what if I put all these women in a room together? So doing this virtually for you at this time is really special to me. And thank you all for spending your Friday evening with us.
Hi, I'm Leanna Klein, and I am not a stage manager. I'm a Zoom manager this evening, but this is my second time working with this piece, and it holds a special place in my heart. And I'm thankful that even though our theaters are closed down right now, we still are able to share this really powerful story with you, even if it's through your computer screen, and even if you might be half watching Hamilton right now.
Listen, I know what I'm doing after this, but until then, if you guys have any questions, comments, anything that you'd like to tell us or ask us, the cast, me, the creative team, you can put that in the live chat. If not, no worries. But a lot of these members, when they say that they've been part of the production, have either been part of the production in its original form in West Orange, New Jersey, the Fringe production, which happened at NJ Fringe about 3 years ago, or the New York premiere at NY Summerfest last summer. And that's where the majority of a lot of these women are actually coming from. But it's so wonderful to also have brought in a new cast member. So I have a question, and that's, what is this entire, just so everyone knows, it was like a 3-day rehearsal process, like over 3 Zoom sessions. What has this process been like for a lot of you, doing it virtually, having kind of be quick and on your heels? Like, what was that like for everybody? Alden.
Hi, I did the Summerfest production as well, and it was very disorienting at first, not gonna lie, because it's a very physical piece, it's a very ensemble-based piece. So much of the moments in between are making eye contact with one person or the other, or having the spirit touch me, and different things that were very physically fed moments that I just wasn't able to access on the screen. So then figuring out like how to use this little box to one's advantage, like changing eye line or going backwards or going forwards. And I felt like we did end up, by like the third rehearsal, thank God, finding a flow of like figuring out how to react to each other and be clear about relationship, even from these little boxes.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Margot.
I'll go ahead. Yeah, it's very interesting doing this over Zoom. I was Eve in the New York Summerfest production, and the most interesting thing for me with transitioning over to Zoom is that I actually felt like I had a lot more freedom as Eve, because she's so kind of closed off to begin with, and especially like being in the physical space with the other women closes her off even more. So it was very interesting to revisit it in this way, because I feel like I found a lot more different emotions, like different moments and stuff like that I might not have found previously. Because even though we're still all in our little boxes here, for Eve at least, I think that actually gives her a lot more sense of freedom, as opposed to the chains are kind of more physical at this point than ones that she's putting on herself, which was it was really cool. It was really cool to explore the character again within the confines of this new setting that we have here.
Not to shift to a new question, however, a lot of people have been saying thoroughly incredible, either on the live chat or actually texting me. So thank you, everybody. Our friend Kelsey has a question to any of the 9 women. What was it like for you researching and stepping into the shoes of your assigned character? Either with the loads of research you may have, or for some of you, maybe with less resources you may have for the character. Anyone want to answer that?
So much fun. Sorry, jumped on that. I had way too much fun looking up Mary Tudor. Someone who, again, we always hear about Elizabeth, and we don't get to hear a lot about what Mary Tudor actually went through unless you've watched the Tudors TV show. And even then, it was kind of a brief thing. Getting to really understand how this was just a woman with severe father issues trying to, cement her place as a ruler when every single man was telling her no, and was fighting back against her every step of the way. And I always found it so interesting about her because but despite the religious differences between her and Elizabeth, the also main difference about them was the fact that Elizabeth was not married and Mary was. Mary did follow her, what she was supposed to do as a woman of the time, and was still, basically, shat on for everything she tried to do. So, pardon the language, but really getting to dive into that and helping understand this sort of disgraced figure for the woman she was really fun for me. And every time I get to read this role, I have more fun trying to find the redeeming qualities of her each time. So, sorry, I jumped on it.
Anyone else? Allie.
I just thought it was really interesting because, everybody has their opinion of all these women in history, because we all have a distorted view based on our educations. And when I was younger, I was, I was pretty religious, and then I went through like a rebel phase, and I kind of lost that. But relating to my character, Mary Magdalene, because she was a figure in the Bible, I was like, I really don't know if I'm going to be able to relate to her. And she wasn't very religious at all. She loved a real man, and like finding the humanity in these characters and finding that they are real women with real feelings and real histories that were blocked from, their truths were blocked and distorted, and to bring their reality to life, and using their experiences and relating our experiences as actors. It was just really cool to connect that with, with the history we may or may not know.
Margot.
When I say that this show is my favorite show, it is totally because I'm biased, because I get to play Eve, which is, even the idea of playing that figure is so crazy to me. I love getting to sink my teeth into that. I love, getting to play such a rebellious, controversial character, but I'm also very protective of her, because I really, I truly am of the opinion that Eve was framed in this historical, context of, the story that she's a main character in. And, because this story really does form the root of so many beliefs that people still do have about women. Like there is this kind of stain as Ali says, when she's Mary Magdalene, like a daughter of Eve, like that's still very much an idea that is still in our culture. So it's really an honor. I mean, I really feel a really great sense of responsibility in playing her to be as honest as I can, and then also show, that she was a child while all of this was going on. Like she may have sinned, but she was also a child that made a mistake that is just as worthy of forgiveness as any of us are.
I'm going to finish it off with one final question. And I promise those who didn't get to answer this last question, I will find a way to work that into maybe an edit after this. I want to go around and have everyone just say one sentence regarding this kind of double-sided question. You could choose which one you want to answer. But why do you think this piece is important during this time? Or how can we spread the themes of this piece in our everyday lives? Because I think there are a lot of really beautiful themes. Maybe I'm just tooting my own horn as a playwright, but I think there are a lot of really important themes in the show about acceptance and love and unity, even against kind of like troubling and unrest. So how do you think, in your own words and your own interpretation, what do you think about this play can be brought into these times, or you take with you when you leave it? Anyone can answer. Abby. And then Abby, then Joshua.
I think one of the most important messages that speaks to the time now is that it's time to listen to the people who have been silenced. That's that.
Yeah, that definitely. To be open-minded, but also to question what we've been told.
Yeah, I love it. Anyone else? Anastasia, I just saw your hand.
Hey, so the show's about love, right? And I think that the way to show love in this time is not through your intentions, but through your actions and through the results that those actions make. We all believe we're well-intentioned, right? And Sofia fights for us, right? She does more than loves us. And this room is definitely, I don't know the audience, but I know the actors were predominantly white passing or appearing. Time for us to fight.
Muge.
Yeah, I think speak up, find the truth, spread love, and we are all brothers and sisters, and love unites us, basically.
Helene.
I think definitely specifically for religion, that at the root of it all, as one of my lines was, your God, my God, they're all the same. The root of it all is a God that preaches love, and that a lot of people have strayed from that, but that's the root of most, if not all, religions, and we all need to go back to spreading love and caring about each other.
Who else? Liz.
Going off of what Helene just said, yes, the realization that we are all actually just funneling our thoughts back to the same thing, and the rediscovering of the humanity of everyone, especially the people that we don't agree with, and still seeing that person as a person, and a person that deserves love, and a person that deserves respect, and a person that does deserve to tell their truth, even if it's not a truth that we understand. And that maybe if we all do that, we can all meet back in the middle somewhere.
Love it. Anna, and I think Margot also had her hand up, but let's go Anna first.
A part of the play that really sticks with me is when Messenger realizes, she says, I always thought I was part of the solution, and now I see that I am part of the problem. And I think that is really huge right now. I think it is so, it's so important right now for people to look at themselves with what's going with this issue that we're facing right now, and say, okay, I'm reflecting on myself,
And as much as I want to be, you know, as much as I think that or have thought that have always been part of the solution, I really need to take stock with myself and see how maybe I haven't been so perfect, where I have been problematic, where I have caused issues in the past. How can I change? And that's it's everything right now. That's how we're gonna make change and move forward. So
Totally just going off of what Anna said. I mean, I think Sofia says it best in her last monologue when she talks about love and forgiveness, and in terms of religion. And if that's not what you're supporting with your religion or your spiritual belief system or whatever, then you're only furthering separation. You are only furthering hatred. And just the importance of listening to people's stories, especially people who have never had a chance to be listened to and have their story accepted as their truth. Everyone has a story. Everyone's story is their truth. And it's only by listening to everyone's stories that we can truly understand, accept them, and then meet in the middle with love.
Alden.
Hi, thank you, Justin. Before we went live, our lovely director, Liz, led us through a little meditation. And I've always had a very strong connection to Joan. And in the meditation, we were supposed to talk to our character, our woman. And Joan said to me, I need you to speak my truth. And I think that's one huge thing about this play, and also living in this insane era, is that we need to speak our truth and respect other people's truths, even when it is inconvenient or difficult or uncomfortable or makes us uproot all of our beliefs and little bubble world that we might live in, because the truth is the most important thing to realize and fight for.
I am going to finish it out. I texted Liz during the show that my favorite thing about the show is all of these incredible stories. When I write, I call it a seance. I feel like my fingers do the talking. And I kind of just feel like these figures talk through me. And every single time we get a new cast together and I hear new voices in it, something new clicks for me. This time we had the opportunity to have Joshua join us. And I finally got to realize what I've always wanted for Spirit, which was to have Spirit kind of be always like a they, them, kind of like non-binary character. Because for me, Spirit is the root of all the gods. They were here long before, they were going to be here long after. They're what we all come from. So if we're all made in their image, yes, they should be non-binary, because we're all made from their love. They make both men, women, trans men, black, black, white, tan, anything. They make everything. We are in their image. We are all fighting over the same imaginary friend, but it's also this whole idea that, kind of like Merchant of Venice, if you prick us, do we not bleed? We are all the same underneath, regardless of sexual creed, gender, race, socioeconomic division, or religion. We are all the same. So going back to what Anastasia said about intention and action, we are, for those who are left, and this will be up on this forever, but until July 10th, I am hosting through the Faith and Shackles page a really wonderful fundraiser for the Black Trans Equity Coalition. This time is a really difficult time for a lot of us, and most importantly, it's a time where not only are we seeing a lot of suicide and depression rates going up for members of the LGBTQ community, but most importantly, trans members. Also, attacks have become even more rampant, especially during this time of divisiveness with both race and with sexuality and gender identity. Black trans members of our community, not just if you're part of those two communities, but as our community of the human race, have been targeted for years, and it's enough. And the Black Trans Equity Coalition provides resources such as alternate housing, medical resources, and therapy resources, and just a good community for these people to come to so they don't feel so alone, and they can make it to another day where they feel like they have a family and a safe space, kind of like what these women found towards the end of the show. So if you can, I'm pledging $150 towards this. I'm raising, at the moment, only about $500. And I know that money's tight right now, but I want to see that go beyond the 500. So if you all can, this fundraiser's up until July 10th. Maybe I'll elongate it, but I would love for you all to just take some time, do a little education about the Black Trans Equity Coalition, and think about donating even $1, $5, $20, $50, $100 to this amazing organization through our fundraiser, in the name of Faith in Shackles and what the show supports. And more importantly, if you can't do that, just speak out in your actions and your words and spread love, because we are all the same underneath it all. Thank you all to my beautiful cast and my creative team. I'm getting verklempt. This Jew is getting verklempt. But I love you all. Thank you all for being electricity. Thank you for everyone who's watching now. And this is going to be on my YouTube channel forever. So anyone who's watching in the future, everyone wave hi to the future. Hi, future. I love you all. Keep doing good. Keep spreading love. Keep spreading human empathy. And have a wonderful night and weekend. And go watch Hamilton. I love you all. Have a wonderful night.